talked about this guy before, Turning Point USA's Rising Star founder. You know all those pieces about all the rising stars in Indivisible that we've read about in Politico or Swing Left or all these massive organizations that are that are flipping seats by 24 points, a 24-point swing. Like
and actually
doing something. You know all those profiles we've seen of all those people. Right. You don't, because they don't exist. But the guy who's getting all the play, of course, is the guy, Trump's man on campus, because so much good is happening on campuses for conservatives. Anyways, there's a story about this guy, Charlie Kirk. But it starts off from the perspective of this guy, Willis. His name is, what is it? Right here. Hold on one second. His name is John Willis. He is a commercial real estate broker in Mesa, Arizona. And it talks about why he supports Turning Point USA. And he says he was on the campus of Arizona State University. I don't know what a 36-year-old is doing on the State University campus, but let's just assume that's not creepy.
He gets older, they stay the same age.
Well, I'm just using their basketball court, their state-funded basketball
Trying to sneak onto a...
Anyways, so he sees a student wearing a T-shirt, silkscreen with the image of Che Guevara, which, of course, is... there's probably been no time since the... 60s, maybe early 60s, late 50s, where you could have gone on to a college campus without seeing a student wearing a T-shirt with that iconic image of Che Guevara, which I should say, the photographer never got royalties for. Nevertheless, he said, "I thought, kid, you don't even know who Che Guevara is," says Willis. Che Guevara shirt on campus might not stick out for most people, but for Willis, 36, it touched a nerve. It was just the latest confirmation of his worry that more young people today are embracing socialism, even Marxism, instead of American capitalism. Some of these kids have no real desire to build something on their own, says Willis, who works for a firm founded by his father. As long as these kids get something for free and they get taken care of, they're happy. What they don't know is that the world that works that way, the socialist world, leads to extreme poverty and eventually death. Now, I've got news for you. I just want to break this to this guy, Willis. Capitalism, too, will eventually lead to death. In fact, all economic systems, and even all systems,
human endeavor.
All human endeavor, and not just human endeavor.
Physics.
All endeavor in animals, too, ultimately leads to death.
There's the heat death of the universe.
Yeah, exactly.
The old heat death. Was he crying while he did this? Was this a full Peterson thing?
I mean, good for the writer here. I imagine they knew what they were doing. But the fact that Willis didn't.
I like how he's like, so I'm on my way to campus, see if I could, roofie a girl, maybe drag her into my car for a ride. And I see a Che shirt, and I'm just like, whoa, there's like serious stuff going on, man.
How does someone like this not have the self-awareness? I wonder if this guy reads this piece and even stumbles on this.
Have you honestly ever met or talked to anybody like this who has even had like the beginning of the type of like you say, how could they not? And in the macro sense, I agree with you. But every person that I have met like this,
of course,
if they even stepped into that room, their whole thing would crumble.
It's definitional.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
that is exactly what a conservative is. It's Mitt Romney going like, if only I had some breaks in life, I'd be president now. I mean, that's the part about that 47 makers and takers.
Throw me a little Mexican blood
speech that nobody talks about. Is earlier or later in that same speech, Mitt Romney says that had my grandfather had a Mexican last name, I'd be president now.
Like being really like being gay in the 1950s.
It's like being gay in the 1950s, except that was good.
The complete, it is definitional. You need to be a conservative of that ilk. You need to be fundamentally denying everything that has been given to you and assume that you got it on your own. I chose which dad to be born to, which is why I own this commercial real estate company.
You know what? That would be actually a much more honest argument. Like if you you took it to some type of like caste system dimension, and you were just like, no, literally karmically, the sperm that I selected through my previous actions put me in a massive inheritance of wealth position. And you're poor because clearly you robbed nuns in a previous life.
Well,
would actually be, while a crazy premise, way more intellectually coherent.
I think ultimately, if you follow it down, that's the nuanced difference between a conservative and a libertarian. A libertarian, a conservative completely denies that they have had that, advantage. A libertarian will get to the point where God bestowed to me upon this advantage. That's why it's okay. Right? I mean, that's how Walter Block justifies, like, oh, when we come here, property rights start when we take the property. That's when property rights start.
That was when the game started.
The game started as soon as God gave us the property, and then off to the races.
Tough wigwam, Chief Acorn. We killed all the engines, and then we said killing people's wrong. Now we should be
exactly
to live in peace and have our land after we wiped every single one of them off of it.
Deus givus timeus.
Postus factuus, don't do this anymore.
Deus givus timeus, and now it's mine, and now I don't even believe in God anymore. I don't have to.
Now I'm an atheist.
He died after he gave me the Indians' property.
Now, if you aren't understanding this, perhaps another age of consent analogy might elucidate it for you.
I think we all remember the story of the elevator, don't we not?
That was the best. And for everybody who hasn't heard that, they're going to assume, because of all my other repertoire, that I've made up and just comedically slandered this guy. But he literally
Go onto YouTube. Go onto YouTube and look
multiple awkward
that we
age
did
of
with
consent. Like, let's do a thought experiment. It involves sex with a 13-year-old. We're sitting there like,
Is this that professor that got in trouble for that? Oh,
Walter Block.
shit.
No, he didn't get in trouble.
Oh, he didn't get in trouble.
No.
I don't think it's nothing to do.
he
I know of no behavior.
Got another sinecure, I think,
yeah.
from some type of Coke-funded
The
professor.
coach really liked my pluribus perfect aegis freedomus.
But
Sam.
I hear some people got mad on Twitter, so that's basically like throwing him in jail.
Yeah, nearly.